Hi, my name is Lily, and today, I want to share a deeply personal story with you. This is not just a story. It's a journey filled with love, heartbreak, and the strength to move forward. As you listen, you'll not only experience my emotions, but also improve your English with simple words and sentences. Now let's begin. Chapter 1, A Love Like No Other. I met my husband Daniel 10 years ago. He was charming, funny, and incredibly kind. From the moment I saw him, I felt like I had found my soulmate. His deep brown eyes sparkled whenever he smiled, and his laughter was contagious. When he asked me out on our first date, I was overjoyed. We went to a quaint little cafe by the lake, where we talked for hours. I told him about my dream of becoming a teacher, and he shared his passion for traveling and helping others. A few months later, Daniel proposed. It was a beautiful spring morning, when he took me to a garden full of blooming flowers. As he got down on one knee, he asked, "Will you marry me?" Without hesitation, I said yes. Our wedding was small and intimate, attended by close friends and family. We laughed, danced, and vowed to be together forever. Life felt perfect. For the next few years, we built a happy life together. Daniel worked as a businessman, traveling frequently, while I stayed home and taught young children. We supported each other's dreams. Every time he returned from a trip, he brought me thoughtful gifts: a delicate bracelet from Italy, a handmade scarf from India. His gestures made me feel cherished. I truly believed I had the perfect husband and the perfect life. But little did I know, a storm was quietly approaching. Chapter 2, Whispers of Doubt. One rainy afternoon, everything changed. Daniel was away on a business trip when I decided to organize our closet. While sorting through his things, I found an unfamiliar scarf, bright red, a color I never wore. The tag indicated it was from a boutique I had never heard of. At first, I brushed it off, thinking it might be a forgotten gift. But something about it felt off. A few weeks later, I found something even more unsettling: a small notebook tucked away in his drawer. Inside, there was a name written in neat handwriting: Emily. My heart sank. I didn't know any Emily, and the writing was definitely not Daniel's. I tried to ignore my growing suspicion, but unease settled deep within me. Then came the late-night phone calls. Daniel started receiving messages at odd hours. When I asked, he casually dismissed them as work-related. But his voice was tense, his eyes avoided mine. One evening, he left his phone on the kitchen counter while he showered. A message popped up. "I miss you, Daniel. When will I see you again? Love, Emily." My hands trembled as I read those words. My heart pounded, and tears welled up in my eyes. I felt like the ground beneath me had crumbled. Should I confront him? Should I pretend I didn't see it? 1,000 questions flooded my mind. Chapter 3, Chasing the Truth. Over the next few days, I became more observant. Daniel seemed distracted, distant. He spent more time on his phone, less time talking to me. Something was undeniably wrong. One evening, when he told me he had a late business meeting, I decided to follow him. I kept my distance as I trailed his car. He pulled into a park and got out. A woman was waiting. The moment she saw him, she ran into his arms, hugging him tightly. They laughed, looking at each other like they shared a world of secrets. My stomach twisted in knots. That night, I knew I had to confront him. As he walked through the door, I steadied my voice and asked, "Who is Emily?" He froze. Shock flickered across his face. "She's just a friend," he said, but his voice wavered. "I followed you," I admitted, my voice breaking. "I saw you with her." His face turned pale. He knew he could no longer hide the truth. After a long silence, he finally confessed. Emily was not just a friend. For months, he had been living a double life. Chapter 4, The Breaking Point. Betrayal is a strange thing. It doesn't just break your heart, it shatters your sense of reality. I spent that night crying, questioning everything. Had our entire marriage been a lie? Had I ignored the signs for too long? I demanded answers. He admitted that he had met Emily during one of his business trips. What started as a casual friendship had turned into something more. He never planned to hurt me, he said. But his words felt empty. I had a choice to make. I could stay and try to rebuild the trust, or I could walk away and choose myself. Chapter 5: A New Dawn. Leaving was not easy, but I knew I deserved honesty, respect, and a love that was true. I packed my bags and walked out of the home we had built together. The road ahead was uncertain, but I felt a sense of freedom I hadn't felt in years. Healing takes time, but I learned that heartbreak does not define you. How you rise from it does. Today I stand stronger, knowing that sometimes endings are just new beginnings in disguise. And so, my journey didn't end with betrayal. It became the beginning of a new chapter, one where I chose myself. The end.